As with my earlier videos on The Walking Dead and Stranger Things, I'm going to suggest much of the power of the writing here originates in the use of mirroring and inversion. The purpose of using narrative mirrors is not to remove nuance by highlighting poles of experience, but rather by exploring much of the complex experience in between those poles. I've gone deeper than I intended with the previous video on key lines in the script, but I'll now summarise much of the mirroring here. The principal mirroring for the character, Daniel Salazar's internal arc, is that of the officer and the barber persona, originally separated by time and geography. This mirrored arc hinges on two particular character turns, with one dramatic face-heel turn at 35 minutes, though he made an initial moral choice earlier at 28 minutes with the Dante handshake. The episode's central payoff is a final heel-face turn only 30 minutes later for redemption. The arc is also structured around two interrelated functional 3 beats, those of the offered hands and the request for forgiveness. It's worth noting that The Walking Dead Season 8 almost redeemed itself following a poor Season 7 via a similar character turn relating to the possibility of moral injury. There were several characters that functioned to mirror Rick Grimes, but at the forefront would be Morgan Jones, who, along with the dying epistolary declaration of his deceased son Carl, finally manages to course-correct Rick from his path of nihilistic, eye-for-an-eye vengeance to one of peaceful coexistence. Back to Fear the Walking Dead and the movement from Season 2 to Season 3 also has a broader mirror from fire destruction to water destruction in their respective season finales, with both elements having the action of a purification that relies on what the viewer absorbs in terms of culturally loaded symbols. In this episode, as I'll look at in the next video on religion, the water has a symbolic identification with purity to combat corruption. The kneeling lightning strike by water, close to the midpoint of the episode, is in the form of a divine intervention and resurrection, mirroring the final Lola repentance and absolution scene, and involves a washing away that can be read on several levels. The cut out the rot scene in Lola's apartment mirrors the final Gonzalez damn freeze response from Daniel and his heel-face turn, from antagonist to protagonist, as the final plot turn is used to more conclusively cut out his internal moral corruption, e.g. rot. The way he freezes in response to the order to kill Lola is the height of this emotional conflict he has over different selves, mirrored and inverted, before and after his daughter came into his life, the officer and the barber. Thirst is an abstract antagonist, identified first by Daniel when he meets Efrain and later tying in all the water references. He identifies the mystery of everyone thirsty as they drive over Gonzalez Dam, mirroring and inverting Dante as seen in contrast to Efrain and Lola. All of the requests for forgiveness are from Daniel and mirror each other. The first is to Efrain as a religious proxy in conjunction with the moral injury. The second is again to Efrain as a friend who he has betrayed in what must be yet another moral injury, and the third to Lola as a daughter surrogate who finally accedes to his repeated request for forgiveness. To murder Lola would be too powerful a mirror of Ophelia's possible demise for him to tolerate. This final mirror breaks the deadlock between the two personas and causes the amazing heel-face turn. All of the 3 beat offered hands mirror each other. Daniel is low for all, first physically with Efrain, second socially in the new Gonzalez Dam hierarchy, third physically, morally and spiritually in the finale. Looking at the elements of water mirror symbolism, some of these are in part set up in episode 3, with power over water established as an issue and a later payoff with Strand and the dam set up here in the season finale. Looking at the symbolism of water in episode 4, we have 1. He's come from a fire, what I call his predominant ghost, a ghost that needs exorcising. His fundamental hamartia also, or wound, is the El Salvadorian moral injury, but compounded by the new hell of his daughter's possible death in fire. A moral injury prevents us from thinking we can be good at all. He tries to escape this. His long zombie-like walk is from fire to water, from moral condemnation to the possible water-based purity of absolution. At 1 minute he dives for an empty water bottle. 3. At 4:30 Daniel begs for water. At 5:50 a little miracle when the fountain erupts. At 6:22 the tricycle run giving out water. absolute inversion of Dante here. At 1848, the Deus Ex Machina of a huge zombie lightning bolt next to flowing water. At 2050, they drive across the dam. At 21:35, Daniel says to Lola, as clear as water. At 27 minutes, Dante asks him to help with the water theft problem, which is an inversion of a refrain. At 30 minutes, he chooses the fountain over a refrain. At 31 minutes, an argument with Lola over stopping the water. At 33 minutes, he hands Strand a flask of water. Then, in the torture scene, Dante reminds Daniel he has lots of water if he needs it. In the finale, they are facing their deaths high up on the dam, blocking water, similar to Daniel's moral block. But I am not suggesting that the later season finale entirely maps onto this as a conscious unblocking, but it does work as symbolism. Two key lines from the script I've already noted have Strand's character mirror Daniel's. The exchange at 31 minutes is Lola to Daniel, "Dante is right, this place is perfect for you, you are a thug." Then the exchange at 34 minutes is Daniel to Victor, "You're a snake, this place is perfect for you." The self that Daniel has always been running from, hidden from his daughter, is free to return when he announces to Victor Ophelia is dead, her father is dead. He almost literally means that with the death of his daughter, he no longer has an obligation to be that persona of the caring father. The good news and bad news line at 4 minutes 40 and 17 minutes is a double bind and is mirrored in the intimate confession scene at 17 minutes, when I believe the bad news is he alone judges himself via an experience of moral injury. The next scene also indicates he is to be judged by his God. Without repeating the good news, bad news as a 3-beat at 36 minutes, Daniel does essentially deliver a double blind instruction to Ephraim, with both of Ephraim's potential options resulting in his death. Finally, we will look specifically at religious symbolism.